What is going on, guys? It is Leland Oakland, and I know it's real late, um, but I have been working for the past hour or so on my Sky Striker deck. After seeing the YCS and everything, and seeing, I want to say his name is Diamond Ray, I'm not sure. Um, I became really curious about his Sky Striker deck, and then my best friend Josh was with him at the YCS, and he was telling me how he watched a lot of his games, and the way he just maneuvered the Sky Striker deck was just unreal. And so, of course, I was able to, once the deck list hit, I kind of compared it to mine, and I started to look at things from a different perspective. And so, these are the slight changes. This is also going to be like a post locals review because Saturday was my locals, and I think it's Monday now, given it's midnight. And so we're gonna go to the deck, and I'm gonna explain the changes. So we of course run 3 copies of Ray. I think that's like forever will be standard. And then of course 1 Rose. So before we go into this, so one thing that I learned from Josh and boy is that the idea is with Rose, drawing her off of engage, like your +1 off of engage, is such a pain. And so a lot of times, just by searching her to get that +1, it reduces it reduces the likelihood of drawing her, because she and one other card is a card you really don't want to draw. And so that's just something to take into account. And then of course we do have the 3 engage, 3 linkage, the 3 widow anchor, then the hornet drone, and the lemniscate. So this is 15 cards for the Sky Striker engine. I did experiment a little bit with 2 lemniscate, but I just found that playing it at 3, playing it at 1 is fine. Yeah, nothing really changed here from Saturday night. And so, yeah, there's really not much to say about it other than like, hey, I think this is the proper ratios to play these cards at. Next for the Radiant Typhoon, we got Eldon, Swin, and Chant with our 3 visions. And of course, MST. This is another package that it's solid for starters. Even MST, while it is a core piece, it's a standard staple. So boom, pops some back row. The vision is great because it lets us draw, and then of course you got the starters with the Radiant Typhoon stuff, which can it mirrors the Mitsurugi striker build, where you use Mitsurugi to go into your striker stuff, but you play far less bricks. Alright, then we are playing Rhoda for our consistency. I did cut the upstarts, and something that I realized with this deck is you want to be able to play in as many situations as possible, meaning that if you're going first, you want to be able to set your cards and do them, but if you're going second, you want to be able to react to your opponent's stuff. Excuse me. Or start breaking their boards. And so I did cut the upstarts because all they really were placeholders, and I think the additional cards I added are solid. We are still playing the 3 Ash Blossoms and then the 2 Drolls. I did cut Ghost Bell at 1 because I also cut Cross Out, and I will explain that as I get to a reason why. But I think these are 5 solid hand traps that I think you can pretty much run in any deck. Ash, it stops the opponents a lot of their starters, but it also hits the Mulch armies, and then you got Droll, which also hits the Mulch armies, but can shut down a lot of decks. Next we have my favorite card, Fallen in the Virtuous. Such a good card. And then I actually cut Forbidden Droplet down to 2. The way I see it is I already played Widow Anchor, and so I basically have 3 Widow Anchors, and so it's just I was playing 3 droplet, and I don't think that's a bad ratio, but I think with all the non-engine I am running, I think you can play 2 droplet and be fine. I am playing 3 copies of Book of Eclipse. So old boy ran 2 copies, and I saw what he was doing, but he also played imperms, and I didn't want to play imperms in the deck. And so, and I also chose to max out 3 Book of Eclipse because they're not once per turn. So if like one gets ash, boom, just drop another. Meaning we also wrap up with 2 copies of Super Poly. Being able to clear your opponent's board without having monsters they can respond to is always ideal. Not to mention, you can put your monster in the extra monster card zone. We are still running Called By, and instead of Crossout, we're putting Talents, which I definitely think I should have kept Talents, played it like from the beginning, but it's okay. The reasoning behind cutting the Crossout was because all I was aiming for was to cross out an Ash, a Droll, maybe a Called By. I did cross out the Fallen and the Virtuous, but I felt that Talents is better going first or second. Just like every one of these cards here have properties going first or second, which Called By leans more towards going first, but still, everything pretty much can play either or. And so if I'm forced to go second, well, it's not that bad because I'll have my side deck to sort of balance things out to like, okay, post side, okay, I lost. What do I think I'm going to do? Are there any cards in here that are not ideal? Like if they're playing a heavy link deck, probably cut the Book of Eclipse. Are they going to be summoning different attributes and whatnot? Cut the Super Poly. So as you guys can kind of see, it just kind of plays a little bit. Are they immune to like this Droll hurt them? So that's the reason behind that, and which is why I'm actually not going to show you guys a side deck, because tomorrow I'm going to sit down and try to figure out what I'm going to go through my locals meta and try to develop a side deck that like does good against the majority of like top tier decks that are at my locals and whatnot. So, but we will go through the extra deck. Extra deck is pretty much the same with the exception of I am playing 2 copies of Zero and 2 copies of Kagari. I liked playing these at 3, but because I'm playing Super Poly, I needed to add the 2 targets. So that's just the reality. Then I do got 1 Azalea, 1 Camellia for the Radiant Typhoon, but if you were playing Pure Striker, no Radiant Typhoon stuff, you could cut this card. Amasu, Zeke, Shizuke, and Hayate. Then of course Garua, Mudragon, Albion, all the 3 Albions. This is what I will say, and this is just me. If you have Albion and Ecclesia, you could cut the second Book of Eclipse for a 3rd Super Poly, and put the Deep Sea Shark guy in and play the Ecclesia and 1 Albion. But because that's not the case with my deck, I'm playing the 3 Albion and whatnot. I have considered putting in the Dragon that Devours the Dogma, which actually, the more I think about it, I think I'm gonna go ahead and put that in there because I do think that is a solid card that would really benefit my deck. Let's see, where is it? Right here. And so by doing so, given that Branded Draco Tail just won the YCS, I don't think it would be shocking to see this card. I mean, to see Albaz and whatnot. So we are going to run 1 copy of that. And so, just so that way, we're all on the same page and whatnot. But yeah, so that's the extra deck. Again, I have to just figure out what are the top decks right now. What are the top decks that are being played at my locals that I need to prep for? Like, what are my bad matchups? Like Lunalight, that's definitely one. So like, while not many people play Hamp, when I go up against Lunalight, it's a huge pain, and I just want to be able to have the best chance at winning. And of course, with the amount of non-engine I'm running, which I counted, so my non-engine I think is at like 20. Let's see. I do count Widow Anchor as non-engine just because it is disruption. MST because it's MST. Ash. Droll. Fallen. Droplet. Eclipse. 3, 6, 7, 10, 13, 14, 17, 20. Okay, so I'm playing 21 non-engine. I'm okay with that, to be honest with you. 100% okay. So it means I'll have a solid chance at opening up with some good disruption cards. And so even if I don't get my hand traps, I can like dismantle my opponent's board when it becomes my turn. I just have to be careful for certain matchups, which meaning I think in the side deck I will most likely end up running some hand traps, maybe like the Molcharmi cards and whatnot. But I do think overall this will give me a solid chance to just kind of interrupt my opponent from playing and whatnot. We are going to cut, unfortunately, we are going to cut the Sky Striker token out because I don't want my opponent to know I'm playing Striker, even though my loudmouth will probably say, yeah, guys, I'm playing Striker today. So go ahead and put the Supreme King in because, you know, if any luck, they may think I'm playing Heroes. So, but yeah, so that's the update. I hope you guys enjoyed the little video. And yeah, I will keep you guys updated, and tomorrow I'm going to do some testing and just pretty much preparing for the popular decks at local. So, alright guys, thank you so much for the support, and I will see you guys later. Bye.